Today, we're going to be talking about 5 habits that are destroying modern men in today's society. These 5 topics are near and dear to me because each one of them have been something I have personally struggled with at some point in my life. The first thing I want to talk about is something everyone that I know, especially my age and younger, deals with, which is doom scrolling. So the first thing with doom scrolling that I want to just say is establishing boundaries around each one of these 5 habits that will alleviate the pit that you fall into. This habit, being a habit, is something that you have picked up along the way, whether it be via PTSD from something and you're trying to comfort yourself physiologically. You are so addicted to it that you don't know how to live life without it. Creating boundaries in your life, whether that be your environment, the people that you're around, or the things that you're putting your eyes on, putting into your ears and listening to, these are all different things that you can adjust in order to see these habits shift. A lot of people psychologists talk about 21 days can form a new habit. So simply 21 days can change your life with these 5 topics. So again, the first one being doom scrolling, creating a boundary of going to the restroom and not bringing your phone in. That's something that I do. Because I know for me, this specific one, doom scrolling, and another topic, number 2, that I'm gonna get to in a second, both of those, I know I do not bring my phone to use the restroom because it is something that I find myself adding 5-10 minutes doing, whether it's going number 1 or 2. You not bringing your phone into the restroom can completely alleviate that specific topic that you've been struggling with for a long time. And the other thing is being able to identify right when you wake up and right when you go to bed, what is the ideal thing that you need to be doing in order to achieve the best day as you wake up or the best sleep right as you're going to bed. And we are taught in the health and wellness world a lot about the screen. The screen is emitting a type of light that actually stimulates the brain in order to keep it focused on it. And I'm not going to dive into the physiology there or the science behind that right now because that's not the topic of the day. But that is something that my wife and we've been beginning to do. It's only on one night on the weekend, where we will watch TV or allow ourselves to be on the phone late into the night just because it's the weekend. And we've done a successful week, and it's usually like a Saturday night. But outside of that, we make sure not to be on a screen whatsoever 45 minutes to an hour before bed. Some people take it farther, 2 hours. Some people just do 15, 20 minutes. My wife and it's 45 minutes. And we found a lot of success with that. So the second thing is adult content. I obviously can't say specific words here on YouTube, but adult content is something that almost every man I've ever known has dealt with, whether it be becoming addicted to it as a child, teenager, or leading into their young adulthood, or being a man already. With the accessibility in today's world with the internet and even social media platforms basically showing soft adult content, it is something that I have dealt with in my past in a place of addiction. And it's not something that I am proud of. It is something that I am very open to my wife about. And I talk to her, and I have actually worked through things with a Christian therapist, and it has helped me tremendously to break free from that addiction. And the same thing as thing number 1, which is doom scrolling, the same thing can be applied to adult content and being addicted to that, Not bringing your phone into the restroom, not allowing yourself to, when you are in a state of emotional instability, to be around an electronic device that can access something like that is a big key. So identifying through your week, even noting down, doing a journal on a piece of paper, not on a screen, not on notes on your iPad or your phone. Writing down, when do you feel weakest? Why do you feel like you want to do fill in the blank thing with adult content? Why are you feeling that addiction in the first place? So the first thing that you as an individual can do is form boundaries, the same thing as doom scrolling. Create the environment in order for you to be successful and not do the thing you do not want to do. So, continuing on, basically every fix to these 5 topics is almost the same. Moving on to number 3, excessive gaming is something that I see a lot of nowadays with especially young people. Even I do play some video games. I'm 32, I love Arc Raiders, it's super fun. And I find myself thinking about destroying Arc and looting passed away raiders that have been taken out, of course not by me. But the reality is that gaming is something that unless you are making it into a financial opportunity for yourself and your future family, it's not something that I recommend doing in an excessive amount, because it's not something that breeds fulfillment nor success in your day-to-day life. It brings you back to the screen, it locks you back into this fake world. So unless you're streaming and going full bore streaming, clipping it up, having people clip it for you, posting at TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, all that stuff, which would be cool and is a route of creating a personal business, personal brand that many people have found success in, but it is rare. So I need you to be realistic with yourself and ask yourself, am I addicted to gaming? And am I doing it to zone out of the tasks and the trials of your life during that day? So the same thing can apply to adult content as this. Write down why you feel the need to constantly be thinking and throwing yourself into playing video game on a computer, on an Xbox, whatever it may be. So moving on to number 4 is the comfort addiction. All 3 topics previous have basically been lumped up now into this number 4, comfort. Being addicted to comfort is something that every man, young and old, deals with. You see retired people just wanting to be comfortable. So work is a form of fulfillment. And I'm a Christian, and I know a lot of Christians that say you shouldn't find fulfillment in work and stuff, but I actually disagree with that personally. I think that God has given us these hands to toil the soil with, as he says in Deuteronomy, as God says in Deuteronomy, Moses said. And I believe that that is something that God has gifted men to creatively do in order to utilize their passion that God has given them to find fulfillment. And for me, one of those forms of fulfillment is doing social media. So doom scrolling, adult content, excessive gaming, comfort, and being addicted to it. Those things, putting those boundaries, putting those limits around these things can be helpful to utilize good things in life that God has given outside of adult content and be able to utilize it for success, especially if you're here on social media and doing a personal brand as I am doing. So being addicted to comfort, who is around you and what is around you? Is your life built on an environment and around people that is all they want? What do you find to be fun and exciting and give you dopamine? Are you getting dopamine from, beating a new boss in some video game? Or are you getting dopamine in getting, 2x sales this month? Are you getting dopamine hits from your wife or your significant other saying they love you and you give them an extra long hug before work that morning? What is the thing that's bringing dopamine to you? Your kid, your children, them coming to you, them being with you and talking with you about their own life, or for me, my future children that have yet to come into my life. Am I thinking about them and being filled with excitement and doing things throughout my day in order to, give them a better life that I know that I want them to have? Because I had a good life growing up, not perfect. I've had my trials. My parents had their own trials, and that manifested in their parenting style towards me. I think every parent to child, they can all admit that they had their issues, and a lot of adult children can look at their parents and say, oh, there were some issues. But the reality is that finding comfort to be something that you crave is something in society with how much we are able to do anything and everything like this. We get pissed if our next YouTube video is not loading fast enough. That's crazy. I remember when I was young, it took like 2 minutes for my computer to boot up. And I was calm. I was excited to use it, whether it be video games when I was a kid back then or doing whatever for school on an iPad when iPads came out, when I was in, I believe, junior high. But the comfort addiction is something that is ravaging men, and I see it today, especially here in Miami, destroying a lot of men's lives because they see so many people with success on social media, even though social media is something that you're only gonna be putting the either real success you've had or straight up just fake success in its actual lives. Because that's a very, very common thing, especially in this city and major cities in general. You see a bunch of Lambo SVJs, Urises. The reality is that I know many of the dealers that sell or lease or rent short term to these young people that are flashing these cars, and these kids cannot be paying for these cars. And many of them get repoed, many of them default on their loans. It's just a dynamic that many people here in the US do not know about. And just because of who I train as a personal trainer in person, it's something that I see and hear a lot about. The last thing is alcohol and abusing it. That doesn't always look like just getting trashed every night. Of course, you're an alcoholic if that is the case. But what I'm saying is that, are you looking to your weekends 2-3 nights a week to just get drunk? And if that is the case, that is something that you are looking to, and you're just getting through your week to get to that point to drown yourself out, that's gonna make you feel like shit physically and mentally, and in my opinion, spiritually. And that's gonna bleed into the rest of the weekend and starting up the next week. So you're actually another week behind. Rather than get a freaking six pack, bro. Build the chest, build the shoulders that you've been wanting to get. Have a clear, focused mind because you're not drowning yourself out with alcohol, therefore you're not hungover. Like, lock in. Quit being a bitch to society and start manning up and actually owning your life. And as you do that, as I have done that, not perfectly, but as I have been doing that, as a 32-year-old married man, I have found myself not wanting the first 4 things as much. I've been finding that as I am not entertaining each of these 5 things that I've listed that are destroying modern men, the other ones are not as potent. Because as you take control of your life, as you take control of your mind, as for me, as I give my heart to the Lord and to my wife, these things just kind of fall away. I'm attracted to different things. I'm attracted to my wife's loyalty. I'm attracted to my wife and the trust that I have built with her. I actually find comfort in the fact that I'm working my ass off to then go be with her in the evening or pop in midday and be able to see her. And that's a dopamine hit for me. So getting back to alcohol, why can't you live without it? I will drink once every couple months to 3 or 4 months. I don't have a rigid thing around this because alcohol is not something I was never addicted to. But like, I had a birthday party with a bunch of friends on a boat here in Miami, and I drank a little bit of tequila. Did I get so bad that I was stumbling off? No. I was eating, I was drinking water and electrolytes. I was still clear-headed and able to focus on what I needed to focus on. Sorry about the lights. But the reality is that making sure to do it for a celebration, having a few drinks, there's no sin in that. Christ never says that. He never said that. And I know a lot of Christians today, actually, they go to the extreme and say, alcohol is a sin, period, which I find to be absolutely unbiblical and ungrounded. So being able to be in a place of trusting yourself, being able to celebrate a 2, 10, 20-year relationship, marriage, whatever it may be, a business startup that you 10 years ago did that now is successful and you want to have a whiskey with your business partner. Those things I believe are all good and healthy. So everybody watching this, I really appreciate your time, and I hope that me sharing a little bit about my life and what I see in modern society with the struggles of men with these 5 things: doom scrolling, adult content, excessive gaming, addicted to comfort, and alcohol abuse. I hope that this helped you, and if it did, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. This is the route that this channel is going because I care about talking to you guys. I care about sharing who I am, what I've struggled with, and I care about you guys overcoming what you need to overcome in order to be a better man spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So let's lock in together and let's get it. Love you guys. Have an amazing rest of your day. Peace, and subscribe.